What up, Bakotunes listeners? It is I, mattomunoz from Bakotopia, and we are celebrating hip-hop at Bakotopia.com in December with, yes, another slammin' episode of the Bakotunes podcast brought to you by, of course, Bakotopia.com. This episode 58 features the blunted, budtastic brothers, the Kottonmouth Kings. This crazy SoCal crew has been smoking out stages since '94 with both roots in the punk and hip-hop world. Kings co-founder Brad Daddy X Xavier took some time out during the latest Cloud9 tour to kick it with Bakotopia to talk about everything from music, business, and, of course, bud. Pop open a cold one and enjoy. This is the Bakotunes podcast, episode 58, brought to you by Bakotopia.com. Well, how's the tour going right now, man?
The tour's going great. We're hitting some crazy weather. We hit some pretty radical snowstorms up in Minnesota, Milwaukee. Our bus ran off the road into a ditch, but no one got hurt. That gave us a scare the other night, but we're okay.
What do you guys have planned for the Cloud9 tour?
We have the cycle of we tour, we do a record, we tour, we do a record kind of thing. Every time we do a new tour, we do like a whole new stage setup and stuff. So this Cloud9 tour has been pretty cool. We got a real cool stage set.
The first time I heard Kottonmouth Kings was for the soundtrack to Scream 2, and that was like, ooh, man, it was like the 90s. And ever since then, the group has managed to stay on the scene and like completely independent. You guys have kind of evolved and just stayed busy.
There's a couple things that go into that. You know, we run and operate our own clothing and a record company, Suburbanoids Records, and SRH Clothing. You might see the Spade around town. We diversify. It's more about a lifestyle, you know, more than just like one band. We have on Suburbanoids Records, we have over 20 acts on the label. As far as the Kottonmouth Kings are concerned, every single year we make new records. We're constantly documenting the band. We're constantly growing, writing songs. Instead of it ever getting stale, a lot of bands will put out a record, then you don't hear from them for 3 years or something like that. But a lot of that has to do with the timetables of major labels and these big corporations, release schedules, and all the things that they make artists go through, you know. But we're totally autonomous and completely independent, and we're on our own timetable. We answer to nobody. We do things our way. We work at this. We embrace technology. We embrace the internet. A lot of people are in fear of it in the music industry because it's changed the business so radically. But we've embraced it. I think we make innovative and different records. We don't sell out. We stay true to what we do and who we are. You know, we make hardcore, uncut, raw music for people who like the music like that.
Like, in a nutshell, like, how did you guys start that? You know, the group got together, and then you said, well, we're going to start Suburbanoids Records. Did it start at the same time?
I started Suburbanoids Records to release the first Kottonmouth King record. That goes back a little history. I was promoting nightclubs at a company called the Artist Group Network. I used to promote nightclubs and stuff like that, and I was in a band called the Humble Gods. Philo and John Richter grew up in my neighborhood out in Orange County. When we were growing up, we grew up a few blocks apart, and when they, you know, started wanting to come out to shows and hang out at the clubs once they got out of high school, and they're always rapping, and they're just really funny characters, I told them, hey, man, we should start a group with you guys at the studio at my house. So started making beats, and we'd start making songs for fun, you know, and they started coming out pretty good, and then it just kind of organically evolved. Next thing I know is we had about 20 songs, and I said, you know, let's release it. I'm going to start a record company, Suburbanoids Records. We're going to put this Kottonmouth King record out, boom, boom, boom. And right when we were in the process of doing that, starting the label, putting all the artwork together, got done recording our first record, that's when all these major labels started stepping to us, Interscope, Elektra, Capitol, and we wound up doing a joint venture deal for Suburbanoids and Kottonmouth Kings on Capitol Records for the first record, like Suburban Life. That was one of the songs that wound up on the Scream 2 soundtrack. That was one of the promises they made to us when we did the deal, that they'd break our song on a soundtrack. That was cool. Got us a lot of exposure real early, which obviously helped. You know, we went from just being a local, you know, Southern California band to having national exposure like that overnight. Definitely helped get the ball rolling in a big way, no doubt about it.
Now, Wu-Tang Clan, they're going to be here the next night here in Bakersfield. They have a lot of members in the group, and they obviously, you know, you read about it in some of the magazines, The Source and all that stuff. They obviously have a lot of family-like quarrels that show up when they get together, and it's always kind of tough. Do you guys ever have problems like that?
You know what? We don't. We've been touring for years. I think that I can't really compare the inner workings of another group or organization that I don't personally know. We've done shows with Method Man before, and he was great. And we did shows with Redman and Snoop Dogg and different groups. They're a completely different animal from what I understand. As far as touring is concerned, like, we get out and grind it out like a rock band would. I mean, we're in a tour bus. I know they do, like, shows. Apparently from what I hear, they don't show up to half shows. They show up late. There's always some kind of drama around it, but which probably adds to the mystique in the long run. But like I said, I can't really comment on how the other work is another group. This is like a brotherhood over here. We're all, friends before this started, and hopefully we'll be friends for the rest of our lives after this. Well, I think there's a mutual respect we don't have for each other. Everybody respects each other's talents and strengths and gifts that they bring to the band, and we're able to, we kind of depend on each other, like being like soldiers. Like, we're in the foxhole. These are the guys we're in the foxhole with. Pretty much when we go out here in this world, we play in Chicago, Detroit, going all over the country. It's us against the world. We're in some gnarly cities, and we got to bond together like brothers and make it home. For example, we're just one little story. We're in Minnesota the other night. So crackheads tried to break into our equipment truck, and then Dirtball and Big B, who were on the bill, Dirtball saw him, and hey, what the fuck, get away from the truck. And the guy charged the motorhome they were in. And then, to make a long story short, within 5 minutes there's two crackheads laid out on the streets of Minnesota in the snow. But thanks to Big B's left hooks.
You say you put out a record a year, and I was looking at the discography, man. You guys got a lot of material. And per record, do you guys usually release everything you guys write that year, or is there just like a lot of unreleased stuff? How many songs make the cut?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. We found when we go in to make records that no, not all the songs we do make the records. So what we did, which is kind of worked out pretty good, is we started a series called The Hidden Stash. And right now there's 3 Hidden Stash series: Hidden Stash 1, Hidden Stash 2, and Hidden Stash 3. And what the Hidden Stash series are the songs that didn't make the records, maybe a song for video game, collaborations, the songs that were not necessarily on the Kottonmouth King quote-unquote full lengths, So we started a series called The Hidden Stash, which became a real popular series because I was amazed how many people want that kind of stuff, want the stuff that didn't make it,
There's always those gems. There's always those gems that people will find and latch onto, and they end up sometimes becoming bigger than some of the songs you guys intentionally released.
Absolutely. Some of those songs are the biggest downloaded songs we have on the internet. I mean, it's crazy. That's cool. That means it's a home for some orphan songs,
But let's talk about another subject that is very identifiable with the group, the issue of the herb. How important is herb to the group?
Well, it's like this. Whether you smoke herb or don't smoke herb, that doesn't qualify you as a Kottonmouth King fan. I mean, there's plenty of people who don't smoke weed that like the Kottonmouth Kings. It is a theme of the band. We do believe in true personal freedom. We believe that every human being and every individual has the right to make that choice. I don't think any police or government agency should make that choice for someone who's not hurting anyone else. They want to put a seed in the ground in their backyard and grow a plant, and at that time harvest it, roll it, and smoke it, or do whatever they're going to do with it. I think that should be the individual's choice. The concept of a plant being a crime is, to me, just an absolute ludicrous, mind-boggling concept. The same as the creator that created all forms of life, the fish, the ocean, the birds, the animals, the tree, everything natural in this world created the plant marijuana. Use it or not use it, that's your personal choice. But for some government or some police agency to make that choice for you, to me, is fundamentally wrong. But, hopefully we have a way in this society of making wrong look right and right look wrong. They could spend billions and billions and billions of dollars on this fucking war, arm 18-year-old kids with AK-47s and, send them in a battle in harm's way, but yet if you get caught with a joint, they're going to put handcuffs on you and throw you in the cage. It seems like we got some hypocrisy going on, and hopefully, through our awareness, we do get involved with some organizations, and hopefully we start to spread some awareness and just get to a more realistic view of decriminalizing the plant,
Times have changed. I mean, since you guys first came out, have you guys had any problems legal-wise? Do you guys have people following you because of, you're preaching the word and the imagery and all that stuff?
Well, here's what it is. The bottom line is we do live in America, a beautiful country, where we have this thing called freedom of speech in the Constitution, and we still, by law, do still have the right to free speech and the right to assemble. So as far as us speaking about herb and the injustice of whatever we speak about, we still have the right to do that. So we don't have any problems from that perspective. Just like there's a High Times magazine out there, just like there's a Playboy magazine. If you're a hustler, if you want to go 7-Eleven and buy some porn, your choice to make. Different states have different laws. So yes, we've had police show up to our shows. We've been banned from places. We have a bus service, all that stuff that goes along with it. All of it's happened through the years. You know what I mean? Yeah. We're a target as we travel around the country, so of course we're smart about it. We don't travel with any amounts that are going to stop the show from going on, you know what I mean?
We have the Wu-Tang Clan and we got Kottonmouth Kings here. Both hip-hop groups, but kind of opposite sides of the spectrum. And, hip-hop music has crossed all cultures. When you guys came out, post Beastie Boys, and was there ever a struggle to be taken seriously as white hip-hop artists?
Well, it was never a struggle for us to be taken seriously within ourselves because we took ourselves serious. I think everyone's polished their game and improved their skills, and as we've grown, I think everyone's become better lyricists and better writers and all that kind of stuff from doing it so many years. But from the beginning, I used to be signed back in the day prior to Kottonmouth Kings. I was signed to Eazy-E's label, Ruthless Records. So, I mean, obviously I know it's very easy to discredit the Kottonmouth Kings because we're white, and that's what usually happens. We usually, like, critics or people, whoever, all they say about they're just a white boy rap band that throws to the side, But they don't take the time to research the layers and depths in our production, and I put our beats up against anybody's beats in the game, period, end of discussion, you know what I mean? I think our records will stand up to anybody's records, period. We played with them all. We played with Eminem. We played with Cypress Hill. We played with the great Snoop Dogg. We played with Method Man. We played with everybody. We've done tours with Alcoholics. We played, we played with everybody pretty much that, that we love and look up to in the hip-hop game. DJ Bobby B, our DJ, he's been DJing hip-hop club for years. He used to be in a group called The Neighborhoods. He used to DJ with Chevy Shank and Ice-T's DJ.
Bakersfield has a huge Kottonmouth fan base. I mean, I've seen you guys here plenty of times, and it's always just jam-packed. Do you have a message for fans?
I would just say stay free, stay down for the crown, and just live your life, man. Walk in peace. Live every day like it's your last.
We're going to do a giveaway through a magazine for some Kottonmouth Kings swag, some of the skate decks. So we're going to put together a big contest because every time I do a contest for tickets for your guys' show, I always get a big response, like probably the biggest response of any artist that we ever do.
Oh, that's great. Yes, I love it, man. That's great. Come on down, bring the mags down. I'd love to see one.
You got it, absolutely, man. All right, man. Well, you take care. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks.
Get your high on.
Thank you, Brad Daddy X. Xavier for passing the J, and don't forget to catch the Kottonmouth Kings live at the Dome in Bakersfield on Friday, December 21st, 2007. And don't forget also to enter to win a huge Kottonmouth Kings prize pack featuring a King skate deck, CDs, t-shirt, and all kinds of cool stuff. Visit www.bakotopia.com. That's BAKOTOPIA.com and enter keyword KMK in the search box. Thanks for listening. This is Matt Munoz from Bakotunes and Bakotopia. Peace.
My high is so far on, I don't want it to come off now. You know what I mean?
Bakotunes Radio.